Voted to cut 35 teacher and staff positions.
So the district is just one of several in our area facing tough decisions to try to deal with budget deficits. In fact, a crowd of teachers and students attending the board meeting, this was last night in Edmonds, hoping to prevent these layoffs. Meanwhile, the president of the Edmonds Education Association blaming legislators and a change in the school funding formula. So Brandi Kruse is here with more on what is at stake today. It seems like a lot is at stake.
It does. So the reason why this is an urgent situation today, so today is the deadline for if districts are going to lay off a teacher ahead of next school year, they need to let them know by today. So we have several districts in this situation. There's a lot at stake. We're talking about this morning, how do we get here? I mean, gosh, we've been talking about this for so long, the impact to teachers and the impact ultimately to students if these cuts happen. So joining us on the phone is Rich Wood with the Washington Education Association. Rich, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So really quickly, we've got, that we know of, 3 districts. I want to show you the numbers that say they're facing budget deficits. So of course, we talked about Edmonds, about $18 million, the Puyallup School District, about $20 million, and the Tacoma School District, $38 million. We've heard from Edmonds about 35 teachers and staff total that they say they're going to need a cut. Rich, are we going to hear a word from those other districts of teachers losing their jobs today?
Well, we hope not. You know, because of the McCleary Supreme Court decision, Washington schools have more funding than they ever have had before. It's really a historic time for Washington's public schools, and we need to focus on what's best for students in the classroom. And cutting teachers is not what's best for students. They're going to be packed into even more overcrowded classrooms if school districts go forward with laying off teachers. We think it's unnecessary, and it's not in the best interest of students.
You know, you alluded to something there that continues to baffle me. I mean, we have worked for years in the state legislature to try to fully fund education. As I'm sure most people watching would agree, the citizens of this state are very well taxed. There is no shortage of new taxes coming out of Olympia every session. How do we continue to find ourselves here, where we struggle to fund education in the United States of America, where we have teachers on strike, where we have teachers that are being laid off? What's going on? Why is this an issue in Washington state?
Right. Well, the Washington Education Association members are the teachers and support staff who work directly with our students. And we've been at the forefront of making sure our students have what they need to be successful. And we're proud to say that, you know, in the vast majority of school districts, and we have 295 of them, they're not talking about cutting teaching positions. They're not talking about cutting staff who work directly with students. So the handful of school districts that you're talking about are really outliers, and you'd have to talk to them about why they're making these bad budget decisions that are going to hurt students. We think that every school board should prioritize students in the classroom and the teachers and support staff who work with them. The legislature addressed some of the shortcomings around levies this past legislative session. We fought really hard to make sure that they did that, and that's good news for a lot of school districts, including Tacoma and Puyallup and others who will benefit from it if the school board and the superintendents in those districts make the right decision and prioritize teachers and support staff who work with our students, and that's what we're focused on.
The WEA has suggested that these budget deficits are sort of a farce and that these budget cuts aren't necessary, that it's a bargaining tactic, like a threat. For those Edmonds teachers who were basically told last night they'll be losing their job, it seems like more than a threat.
Well, school districts, again, need to prioritize, and it's unfortunate that in some cases it appears that administrators are making threats to reduce teachers and support staff based on either the past negotiations over the last year or upcoming negotiations, and that would be really unfortunate for our students. You know, the fact is that school funding in Washington state has increased dramatically because of that historic Supreme Court decision. I mean, the legislature helped out this past session that just ended a couple of weeks ago by restoring some of the levy capacity that they had taken away earlier, which will allow local voters to invest in their schools. The legislature increased special education funding. That's not to say that we don't still have a lot of challenges. There's still a lot of work left to be done around fully funding our schools the way the Constitution promises our students. But right now, it's unfortunate that any school district would be cutting teachers and support staff.
Rich,
we don't think that's in the interest of students.
you know, when the teacher strikes were happening last year, you know, in places like Tacoma and Puyallup, I remember very well, we had you on many times. And we also had on the Tacoma School District spokesperson many times. And he warned us about this. He said, look, these teachers are asking for major raises. We can't afford it. Our budget can't handle it. And something like this is going to happen where teachers are going to lose their jobs. Should you guys have asked for less? Should you not have pushed as hard? Should you have expected that this might happen?
Well, those contract negotiations were local in every school district, and since then, the Tacoma School District Administration has said clearly that whatever budget challenges they think they're facing now are not a result of the competitive compensation that they negotiated with teachers and support staff last year. We have a teacher shortage in Washington State, and the Supreme Court was clear in its McCleary decisions that we needed to do a lot more to provide that competitive professional compensation to attract and keep quality school employees. And let's be honest, if any school district is laying off teachers right now, there are 290 other school districts that are hiring teachers right now. I don't know the exact number, but the point is that if one district is laying off teachers, those teachers are going to find jobs in other nearby or even next door school districts. And I don't know how that's in the best interest of the students in a particular school district. This is going to have an effect on students.
Yeah.
They are going to have fewer teachers, and they're going to not get that personal attention that they need to be successful. And we hope it doesn't come down to that. We hope that these districts find other alternatives and make teachers and support staff a budget priority.
Yeah, I think we can all agree on that, Rich. Nobody wants their kids to sit in a bigger classroom. Nobody wants to lose teachers. Nobody wants to make teachers move to a different district. So we are going to be waiting to hear news from Tacoma, from Puyallup, and also from Edmonds to see what's going to happen with these layoffs today, because today's the deadline. Rich Wood, we appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and for those of you who want to continue to follow this issue throughout the morning, we're going to have more in-depth coverage coming up at 8:30. An hour from now, Chris Reichdahl, the Superintendent of Public Instruction, will join me live to talk specifically about what this could mean for your kids in their classrooms, and specifically the issue of class sizes, coming up an hour from now.
All right, Brandi, thanks. Today is the final day for the public